Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. So today we're going to be talking about government medical universities in Pakistan and how I got into one of them. Let's start. Agenda. So these are the things we're going to be going over, so you can have a quick little read through. Let's move on. Introduction. Where did I get admission? So I got admission to Dow University of Health Sciences, which is located in Karachi, and it is one of the best government universities in Pakistan, at least. Yeah, one of them. And I got into open merit, which is basically I was one of the students from 1 to 237 merit number. Open merit is basically a bit more cheaper than self-finance. And most of my educational background I was from A levels and O levels. So yeah, let's move on. Grades. These are what my grades look like. So in O levels I got 6 A stars and 2 A's. In A levels I got 1 A and 2 B's. And the equivalences in O levels I got around 92% and something. In A levels I had around 88% and something else, and like in decimals. Yeah, and method to get equivalence, I'll just sort that out real quickly, and you should get this done as soon as you have either your O levels or your A levels results. No, wait, do not wait for it at all, because there will be like a whole lot of rush during the admissions session. So the method to get equivalence is basically search for IBCC equivalence on Google or whatever, register and fill out an online application. You can pay either online or in the office, but you should pay in the office, because if you get this process done online, it will take significantly longer than it will be if you do it in office, and you'll be like kept in the dark if you do it online. So you should do it in the office. I think there's like in Karachi, Islamabad, and Lahore as well. I don't know about that. You can check it out though in the website. And yeah, an important thing is you can even check out your equivalence even before you have paid. In the online application you can see what your equivalence is, and you can like pay later. Let's move on. MDCAT, what I get in my MDCAT, I got 158 out of 180. So I gave the Sindh MDCAT, so that's an important outlier. In Punjab and KPK, people get like much higher scores, but in Sindh this was a pretty good score. So let's move on. Aggregate. How do you even calculate the aggregate? So the thing I talked about, the merit number from 1 to 237, I had my number in between those ranges. So that is basically calculated upon your aggregate. So what is the aggregate? It is 10% of your O levels equivalent. So whatever percentage you get is 10% of that. 40% of your A levels equivalence, 50% of your MDCAT percentage. So 158 upon 180 multiplied by 100 to get the percentage, and then you get 50% of that in order to get the MDCAT percentage, and then you add all of these things up and to get the aggregate. And that's how rankings are basically made and merit numbers. Onwards, academies. Okay, this is interesting. So disclaimer, I'm not like sponsored by any of these. I'm just giving my honest opinion. So yeah, let's get into it. So Anis Hussain, like everyone, I also joined Anis Hussain in Karachi. It's one of the most famous ones, and there are some pros, but there are some cons as well. So pros where they had weekly classes, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday I had a 3-hour class, and Sunday I had a 6-hour class. And in the pro weekly classes, if you attend them like on point, like every single week, you will be on top of things. Even if you don't study for MDCAT, other than these 2 weekly classes, that'll be pretty good in your college life at least. And another important cool thing is that all your questions can be cleared on the spot, because of course you're going there, so teachers will be present. They were also, I had like 6 tests at the for MDCAT before MDCAT started, and that was very important for me for time management, and I feel like that is a very big pro. There's also resources provided, and their good quality notes were also there, and also questions. They had books of notes and questions, and I found them pretty helpful. And they also had online past paper classes, so basically past papers for nums MDCAT and also probably other private universities were all done. All past papers are available. So that was also very helpful in order to get the paper pattern and what kind of questions can be expected. However, cons are that classes on Saturdays and Sundays can lead to extreme burnout. At least it did for me, because I went to college as well from Monday to Friday, and then classes on Saturday and Sunday, so I had no holiday at all for a whole year. Quality of recordings on the app is not the best. Like, there are lots of cuts in the middle. It's not worth it at all. If you're doing it online, at least you should do it on campus. And the classroom environment may cause distractions. It didn't for me, but I like heard for other my friends and such, it did for them at least. But I don't think that's that big of a con, to be fair. So another academy that I had enrolled for no reason, I don't know why, it was Maqsad. It was online. It was pretty good, to be fair. So the pros were everything online, so like no travel worries. Their classes Monday to Friday with recordings, so it was very good. Every day for like an hour or two. Weekly tests, and like each Saturday they had a test of all the things they had taught that entire week. So that was pretty good. And their guidance sessions on Friday to like how to go about the MDCAT stress and anxiety. Another pro was topical and yearly questions on the app with video solutions, which is pretty good because you could like see what problems you occur during the question. You can easily get it solved via the video solutions. However, the video solutions sometimes weren't that informative, so you gain some, you lose some. There were also time practices as well, so you can manage your time, and the quality of questions was pretty good. The cons were the classes were in afternoon, like 3 p.m. I believe, and that may clash with your college time. The quantity of questions was much less, and the notes were good, but I wouldn't like recommend them to be your sole notes for MDCAT preparation. So another one I joined was pre-med, but I only got like the MDCAT bundle, I think, the question one. There were thousands of questions, the explanations was pretty good. Topical and yearly past papers was also there with like time stuff and like answers at the end. Notes were also good, but notes were like good. And in the corners over here, the notes also may not be sufficient for prep. They shouldn't be your sole notes. And for physics, I noticed the notes weren't that great. They were like formatting issues in some of them and not explained well, so it weren't that worth it. Mnemonics and flashcards were good, and short listings as well. Very good for like quick revision during the last couple of weeks. And yeah, and books for all provinces were also present there. So like all chapters, all books for all provinces was present, which is pretty useful. Another con for pre-med is the questions may have wrong answers and may be out of syllabus, which is pretty big, not gonna lie. But I didn't like suffer a lot from this, but I did find a fair few of them along my journey. So these were the three sources I took. Of course, it's not like necessary to get any of these sources. You can like YouTube is full of resources, and I've got like one YouTube channel linked in the next slide as well. So I just did this because I was like following the herd of people, but it's not that necessary. Let's move on. Resources that I use for biology, I only use the SIN textbooks. That's it. And practice questions. Practice questions I got from like the array of all these um, academies, and the best of them I personally found were that Anisozen is pretty good and Maqsad is also pretty good. That's what I mainly used. And chemistry, Anisozen notes were the ones that I primarily used, not the ones in the book, like the big book they gave, not those, but the ones that I wrote in class. Those were very useful. And the syntax book, I used that. And practice questions again. Physics, Anisosen notes, the one that I wrote in class. Syntax books a bit. For chemistry and physics, I didn't use a whole lot of the book, a bit of it, because I came from A levels and going over the books was I couldn't be bothered. So I went over a bit of them, but I think going over the books is the best strat. So you should go over the books. That was like a bit of a mistake for me in hindsight, not gonna lie. Practice questions again, and for physics, a very good YouTube channel was Physics Ka Manjan by Sir Bilal Zaya. Very good channel. I like basically physics was covered by this channel mainly, and because he had like topical questions as well, including past paper questions, it was like brilliant for me. English, I didn't study a whole lot for English. I just did practice questions that came with the yearly past papers, to be fair. In logical reasoning, YT videos for understanding, like just search logical reasoning MDCAT on YouTube, you're gonna get a lot of videos. And practice questions, that's pretty much it. Okay, so these are important documents that I believe that you should get as soon as possible for if you want to get admission into like medical universities. So you should get your O levels or metric certificate and the equivalents, of course, for O level people. And you should get your A levels or inter certificate and equivalents, of course, for A level people. You should get your permanent residence certificate plus domicile. So that's very important. And you should get your guardian's permanent residence certificate and domicile. So this is like this was in the this page was in the prospectus to get admission to government universities in Karachi. And yeah, this is, I believe, if everyone has their own like different issues, so they should get these documents. So yeah, let's go on. So yeah, that was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If there are any questions or concerns, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Goodbye.